Hi, everyone. We're here in Studio 360 at F5 AppWorld 2024 in San Jose, California. This is F5's premier application security and delivery conference. I'm joined by Jonathan from Intel. Jonathan, can I get you to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Jonathan Nguyen. I'm the field CISO for Intel Corporation, and I lead the Zero Trust practice area in the COE there.
Okay, fantastic. Today, we are going to be talking about enterprise cybersecurity, and maybe we'll start off with, based on all of your experience and your knowledge of current trends and stuff, where are we at today? What's changed? What hasn't changed?
So cybersecurity today is a tale of what's old and what's new. And the unfortunate things are what's old is still relevant today. So we're still failing on things like that are basic. We're failing that 99% of all the vulnerabilities exploited were known for at least a year. 83% of all the data breaches were caused by the human element, meaning human failures. And third, the single largest source of breaches in clouds were misconfigurations. So despite all the advances in machine learning and artificial intelligence and automation, we're still failing in simple intermediate controls on security hygiene, as it were. At the same time, the operating environment is much more complex. So computing is more distributed than ever. We've gone from data centers and private clouds to a hybrid public cloud architecture, now to computing on the enterprise edge with near, mid, and far clouds. The compliance regime is much more broader, deeper, and complex than ever before, not only from security compliance requirements, now privacy requirements and governance as a whole. And at the same time, the adversaries are working in both formal and informal teaming arrangements with tools like AI to make it harder than ever before. So yeah, it's a very challenging and dynamic environment today.
Yeah, hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
Maybe you can fill us in then. We've got things like AI, generative AI, DDoS attacks, APTs.
Yeah.
Where are we at with everything there? I've listed off a bunch of buzzwords, but what's your take?
So we've got to understand that the basis of this, right? So cybercrime, like all crime, happens because it pays. And so when you look at things like ransomware and DDoS attacks, those are extortion attacks. A demand for money. And that's as old as time. That goes back to time immemorial. There are always bad folks. They're not just bad guys. And by the way, 43% of all the threat actors out there are actually female. So it's really not just bad guys. It's bad guys and bad gals and everything in between. And their primary motivation is money, right? So when we think about DDoS attacks, the methodologies may change, the effectiveness may change, but the root drivers, the drivers for that type of crime, it's always monetary. After that, things like social gain and politics. When we think about AI, it's phenomenal. AI and machine learning are representations of big data. We as a society today generate more data than ever before. In fact, when we think about generative AI, it generates more data than all of humanity has in 10 days. So in 10 days, we're generating more data since the time of the Gutenberg press in 1446. And we need big data to do what? To create better, more personalized experiences, to distill insights from broad data lakes, to find out how do we improve business processes? How do we make a more compelling experience for you? How do we enrich that experience to make better business outcomes? And so all that comes together. The biggest trend right now, and it comes from this idea that during the millennial times, that during the pandemic, they were all millennials. We all want to be wowed. We expect high orders of personalization and customization and privacy and security with any interaction we have with any brand. So that requires what most of the analysts now call responsive computing, right? And that requires this idea that networks, computing, and security all have to work together to deliver an outstanding experience. So the biggest challenges today for a security team is, oh my gosh, how do I make sure that every user on any machine from any location can access any workload on any application hosted anywhere safely, securely, and seamlessly? Sounds kind of elegant and intuitive up front, but you scale it to millions of simultaneous sessions, you begin to see why we have so many challenges today.
Absolutely. You think of probably a user as like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then a technical person's like, oh, this is going to be really hard to put together.
Well, the technical folks can put it together, but now they're being asked, show me the ROI. show me how that acceleration of that business process, right? What we at Intel and F5 do together, we use our silicon with F5 hardware to accelerate application performance, secure that. And so what do we do really? We remove friction from the workflow. As we remove friction, we improve the business experience. As we improve the business experience, what are we doing? We're accelerating time to innovation, we're accelerating time to revenue, we're delivering those business outcomes. And so that's how security professionals now can demonstrate that cybersecurity isn't just about security and mitigation and compliance. It's about enabling the business. And so now we think about how do we remove friction and how do we safely open up the enterprise. Cybersecurity today, especially the enterprise space, isn't about locking down the enterprise. Anybody can do that. It's really about how do I remove risk and friction to open up the enterprise to unlock value. And that's what we do.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Instead of being the person that always says no, the person is actually trying to figure out how to get to yes.
Yeah, well, the practical reality is that you can't be Dr. No, right? So one of the things that most practitioners learn is that users are going to want to consume the software, the technology, in whichever form factor they really want. That's why when you ever walk across the campus, you see a concrete walkway, and there are all these worn dirt paths around it, because no one's going to use that. And so what we try to do in cybersecurity now is we want to enforce security policies and controls, but allow users to use the tools, the applications that they want to use, just like our consumers, to get to the business outcome, to get what they need to do their jobs, right? So I don't look at cybersecurity as building walls. I look at cybersecurity as building guardrails that are negotiated with the user so that that experience is always improving.
Fantastic. Okay, we're here at AppWorld, F5 AppWorld. F5 plus Intel. We've worked together for a while. Any comments on this partnership that we have together?
Sure. One of the things about cybersecurity today is that it is a team sport. Nobody should approach cybersecurity as an operator on their own. You shouldn't be building your own products as an operator. And as in a partner ecosystem, it's all about working with folks like F5. So we partner with F5 for the hardware acceleration, the elements in the big IP, especially the virtual edition, the ability to leverage that in combination with our silicon to accelerate workflows and processes, everything from analysis and mitigating volumetric DDoS attacks to looking at huge levels of encryption and decryption so that you're actually applying security controls without impairing the workflow. And really, at the heart of it, that's what we do together. And that's why these two iconic brands, I've been working in cybersecurity for 26 years, right? And so Intel and F5 have always been there, always together, always accelerating what's within our partners' ecosystems by the silicon that we deliver, right? Yeah.
Fantastic. Great story that we have together.
Yeah.
Jonathan, where can people go to find out more about what Intel does in this space?
Sure. Well, you can always search for Intel Corp, Intel and cybersecurity, and F5. In fact, the easiest thing to do is just search for F5 Intel in cybersecurity, and you're going to see all the ways we work together so that we accelerate performance, we remove friction, and we enable businesses to unlock value. Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for joining me today, and thank you everyone for watching. You can find more videos from F5 AppWorld when you follow us on LinkedIn, X, YouTube, and on f5.com. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching.